question.
Wow, I get to be the last one. First of all, I appreciate everything you do and all your energy. I want to take 5 seconds and I want to answer the question for the person out of Eau Claire concerned about property taxes. The simple answer is elect a conservative governor next year, and that'll begin to solve your problem. My question is related to the new tax bill. And one of the things we've been doing, even since Paul Ryan, where we saw the simple postcard, is we just keep adding more complexity to the tax code. If I look at the state of Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania has a very nice process, which is simply a flat tax. It's very simple. It reduces a lot of fraud, and so it saves government a lot of money because you don't need tens of thousands of agents basically reviewing, and you don't have people looking for little escape ways or ways to cheat. The current example that I have is I'm all for the no tax on tips, but yet there's so much criteria around it that it just introduces more complexity, more auditing, and more of those things. I always say is you take a dollar, you throw back a dime, and we're supposed to be happy. Are you in favor, and is there a plan to simplify the tax code, perhaps look at the state of Pennsylvania, the way they just have a flat tax? That'd be the first part. And then the second part is we're seeing more that government is requiring us to use ID.me as far as for verification. Is that a private company, and is that basically just another avenue where somebody's getting their pocket padded in the background? Do we really need that? Thank you for your time. Thank you for everything you do.
So to not answer the last question, I don't know. We'll check into that. But in terms of the first question, yeah, I mean, that was one of the main reasons I wanted a 3-step process. So provide the funding to clean up the message, the border, the wars, then just extend current tax law. As much as I hate it, the complexity of it, just take an automatic tax increase off the table, then come back in the one big beautiful bill. And I really wanted to take time to simplify the tax code. I was all for no tax on cash tips because you can't collect anyway, so don't even try. But I was opposed to no tax on credit card tips too, but couldn't change that. I was railing internally about the complexity we were adding in the one big beautiful bill. We didn't simplify the tax code in the Tax Cut and Jobs Act. We made it more complex. In that case, I was able to fight to make sure that 95% of American businesses also got a tax cut with the 5% of C Corps. That initially that was the only concept, and it was me that basically dug my heels in and screamed and said, I'm not going to vote for this thing, and they need my vote unless we make sure 95% of American businesses also get a tax cut. Now, we did it in a very convoluted and complex way, but at least got relief. So no, I do not like the complexity of the tax code. I've been talking about simplifying and rationalizing it. Rather than use the word tax reform, I always talk about tax simplification, tax rationalization, and honestly, one of the concessions I wrangled out of voting yes for this in the end was a concerted effort on the part of the Finance Committee to truly look at tax simplification. So I am completely on board with that. I'm probably the guy leading the effort here in terms of spending reduction and also tax simplification and rationalization. Again, I'm up against Washington, D.C., and all the lobbyists who just like it as is. I mean, for every complexity of the tax code, there is a powerful constituency. So it's not an easy tax, Tim, but I guess the more I talk about it, the more publicity it gets, maybe you'll get more adherence to it and we can actually accomplish it. But again, Tim, appreciate that. I'm on your side. We're singing out the same hymnal there. But again, I want to thank everybody for hanging on the line, participating. We've got a 3-word mission statement in my Senate office: to help people. Now, there are bullet points underneath there, whether it's veterans benefits, Medicare, Social Security, visas, family members trapped overseas. My staff does a wonderful job taking that mission statement to heart. They do a great job. We call it casework. Best people to contact there are my state staff members, either in the Madison, Oshkosh, or Milwaukee offices. The best way to contact them is just go online, ronjohnson.senate.gov, get those phone numbers. But if you got a question, do not hesitate. If you got to help navigate yourself through the federal government, or you got an issue that the federal government is involved in, reach out. You can also call up DC. Generally, those phone calls are, letting us know where you stand on issues. We log those calls in. I get a daily report, so I understand where constituents are. But these telephone town halls also are very helpful to me to understand where people are on particular issues, what your viewpoints are, and hopefully you also understand a little bit better in terms of my rationale on how I voted for things and how I will vote. So, again, thanks for staying on. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found it valuable. It's a true honor being a United States Senator. Everybody have a great evening. Take care.